All right, we come to the last section in our resume workshop, talking about the resume fitting process and what all that entails, and the processes and things that you can do to better position yourself when you apply for positions in your resume. So first of all, let's look at what is resume fitting to begin with. So really and simply, it's just the process of taking a job description and analyzing it for keywords and phrases that can be ethically used in your resume to establish yourself as an ideal candidate for the position. It's as easy as printing out the job description or taking the job description, reading it, and highlighting what words are used over and over again and what words are stressed as either soft skills or hard skills in the position that you can use through gap analysis and truly reflect on yourself and say, yes, I have that skill, yes, I have this skill, or no, I don't have this skill, and whatever applies, put that in to the resume to show a better fit, not only to applicant tracking systems, but to also the people that are viewing your resume in the recruiting positions. And so next, let's talk about a fit resume. Basically, you need to use keywords and apply them to your skill sets. Use those keywords multiple times to establish to the recruiter and to the computer you are the ideal candidate. And multiple times is kind of may or may not be misleading. So if the job description uses a word multiple times, then you need to use it multiple times. If a job description stresses it once or twice, you may need to stress it once or twice. But if it's a situation where it's mentioned once or twice or once, you don't need to mention it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, because that's obviously not a word that's being stressed as much, but still needs to be included in there, but maybe just not multiple times. So use your better judgment and make sure that the word fitting makes sense and not just put in the word just to get by, to make sure that you get through the applicant tracking system or the algorithm designed to pull your resume and judge your resume by the recruiters. Really take the time to make sure it works for you. And then you have a stronger chance to gain an interview if you take your skills and directly match them to the job description. You cannot absolutely send out a resume to any job without actually going through this fitting process. The fitting process should be done every time when you apply for a position. I mean, you can actually, the fitting process doesn't have to be an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour process every time. If you get a good, solid based resume based on a functional industry or specific function, you can really fit a resume or change a resume in as little as 10 minutes to possibly even an hour and a half. But again, you have to put in the time. Think about it this way. I mean, you're actually trying to get a better job or position yourself for a job. You're actually going to have to work for it. You can't just blindly send out resumes and expect to get hits. You really need to take the time to go through this resume fitting process and show that you're a true value to the company and that you can bring value to the bottom line quickly. That's really going to show the recruiter when they view your resume that you have a better chance of getting an interview. And then once you get to the interview, you knock that out and you get that job. And fitting the resume is a big part of that process. So we wanted to kind of give you some examples of some things that you possibly could pull out of a job description. So here are some excerpts from 2 job descriptions. And the first one is, analysts may work on a variety of transactions that provide exposure to various investment banking services and client industries. These services include mergers and acquisitions, private placements of debt and equity, refinancing, and leveraged buyouts. The second excerpt talks about, you will research and analyze financial statements, general industry-specific economic conditions and developments, acquisitions and divestitures, and various investment attributes of publicly traded and private security companies. So take one, for instance. If you look at yourself and your skill sets and you've done M&As, you've done private placements, you've done refinancing and leveraged buyouts, this is a perfect opportunity to market your skill sets in this particular job. Obviously, these words are stressed, these are important, and these need to be included. Also, anytime you're talking about client-facing roles or anything like that, make sure you show examples of times that you've dealt with customers face-to-face and how you solve their problems. In example 2, they're looking for a lot of research and analyzing of financial statements. Show them with your skill sets and through your projects in school or your professional experience that you can be the person that can analyze financial statements and be responsible for that and give good recommendations on those companies based on their financials. And then acquisitions, divestitures of publicly traded and privately securities companies. Just realize that if you have those skill sets, these are the things that companies want to see. Even if you change it to a different word or phrase, that could be a big mistake. The applicant tracking system couldn't pick it up, or the human that's recruiting you could scan through the resume and not pick up that word because they're going so fast. I mean, you have no idea how a small change in a word can make or break your resume. So really taking the time to do this fitting process and physically either printing out the job description and laying out in front and going through it word by word by word and detailing the soft skills and the hard skills, And then really looking at yourself internally from a gap analysis perspective and say, where can I fit? Where do I fit? Where do I fit? And then fitting that into your resume is really the only way to go, and it can effectively help you get that job. Okay, so now we're finished with the resume process and finished with the resume workshop in general. I wanted to provide you with some contact information that I'll leave on the screen here for a few seconds. But our department, it loves to meet with our students for sure. And we will do that any way we can, via Skype, via phone, via instant message, or face-to-face. Really and truly, we want to communicate with you the best way we can. And so here's some information on how to get a hold of us. We have a dedicated undergraduate staff and dedicated graduate staff here to help you through the process. Or you can feel free to click on any other online tutorial to learn any information that we teach, not only in our classes, but in one-on-one coaching appointments. Thank you for your time, and please let me know if we can help you out in any way.